Good morning, I'm Sarah, the Real Simple Mama. We're getting festive out here with a quick winter preparation update here on Jurasschic Park. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all doing well and that you had a delicious Thanksgiving if you and your family celebrate it. I wanted to do a quick video to say hello. I'm hoping that you guys can hear me better. I'm working on the recording audio. This is Talaria losing a battle with what is it? With a fir branch from our tree. But I came out here to hang up our couple of little outdoor Christmas decorations. And I wanted to show you just a couple of things that are happening here around the coop and the run, as we have officially dropped into winter temperatures. So much for autumn in Texas. We went directly from summer to winter. So we are officially having temperatures below freezing in the night and in the early morning. So I wanted to give you a couple of quick tips. Of course, I have a lot of other videos for winterizing your chicken coop, you know, how to keep your chickens warm, all of that stuff. So this will be just a brief overview as pertinent to winter 2020. So the first thing you might notice is that we had to prune down a lot of our plants, and they've all been remulched. The growth that's up above the ground is freezing, and so they are all mulched. There's my shadow, awesome. But everything up above the ground is going to be freezing, but then because we've cut them back and we've mulched them really well, their root system is going to continue to get stronger, and that way they're going to come back tenfold in the spring is our hope. And so far, all of the plants that we've put here in the ground have made it, except for a rosemary that I did a while back that's already gone. So that's great. But it's really depressing to see. You can see there's one big greenhouse and there's the other one with all of my potted plants in it. So it's just sad because I miss my plants. The girls are finishing up some spicy oatmeal that I made them this morning. The next thing is that my older girls have finished their molt, but now my young girls, my 3 who I just acclimated to the flock over the last month or 2, they are starting to molt. So it's like, dang it. I was getting eggs from the gray girl in the middle of your shot. That's Miss Muffet. She's a sapphire gem. She's been laying every day. And then my sweet little disappearing chicken, Talaria, the one with the feathered feet who was fighting that pine branch a minute ago, she gave me a beautiful little speckled chocolate egg the other day. But egg production is going to slow down. It's going to slow down because the days are much shorter now. There's not as many hours of sunlight. You can, of course, if you choose, you can force your chickens to produce eggs all throughout the winter by adding a light source. From what I understand, you add a light source, it just extends daylight for a couple of hours. In other words, it tricks their body into thinking there's 10 hours of daylight as opposed to just 8. And you would extend it in the evening, so past sunset, for a few hours. You can do that if you want, but just remember that chickens have a finite amount of eggs. So if you want them to be producing more eggs now, they're going to stop laying at a younger age. Does that make sense? You're just condensing how many years they're going to be able to lay eggs. So we choose to not do that. We let their bodies rest throughout the winter, especially since they either just finished a molt, or as you can see, Carmen Hendiego, the dark brown girl, and you're at the center of your shot. She's going through a molt now. So their bodies are going through enough. I personally don't ever force my chickens to lay through the winter. We'll just have to get them from HEB and hope that the neighbors don't see. So there's that, right? So they're all over here hanging out. And the other thing I wanted to show you is that I've used some waterproof feed bags to just block up a couple of little zones in the coop yard area that's right under here underneath the coop. And the reason is that your chickens, please don't worry about putting a heat source in. They don't need a heater. They are totally fine. Just because we're cold, it doesn't mean that they're cold. Chickens have a lot of strategies, which I am jealous. I wish I had them. They can fluff up their feathers and make little air pockets that stay warm with their body heat. And then they eat more, and that increases their body temperature. So as long as your chickens have some space where they can get out of the wind, if they choose to do so, like I did, where I just blocked up 2 sides of the coop, that's all they really need. Please don't try to add heat sources or anything like that. We have more issues, at least in the Texas area. You're not going to lose any chickens to the cold unless they don't have a place where they can escape it, like there, where they can just get out of the wind and they can fluff up and kind of hang out for a little bit. You're not going to lose chickens because of the cold. You will lose chickens if there is any kind of problem with the electricity, or there's always somebody in San Antonio, unfortunately, in our chicken group. There's at least one person every year who insists on using a heat source, and they end up burning their coop down and killing all of their birds. And there was one a few years ago where, because they had their coop up close to the house, their house actually caught on fire as well. So please, 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 please don't worry about a heat source. And we're here to help here in the comments if you have any questions. So as I've said before, winter is the season of waiting. So we're letting the girls' bodies rest. All of the plants are going dormant. Right, girls? And we're just hanging out. So they are going to get some warm snacks or some protein-heavy snacks pretty much every morning. But then as long as they have their normal layer food offered to them 24/7, then you should be good. And then, of course, they should have water available. If you notice, I've actually added a second waterer, that white bucket out here in your shot. And then there's the other one. Let me get out of my own shadow here if I can. So there's the water bucket that's here in the coop, and then there's the one that's also outside. I just added 2 water sources because we're still having issues with those little drinkers. If they get bent or maladjusted just a little bit, then either they leak everywhere or they just don't work. So we're being very careful. I am making sure that our water bucket doesn't freeze. We're not worried about that quite yet, but it's going to happen. And what you can do is just, and I'll be in my shot again, sorry. What you can do is, if I can get this off, I filled it and I put a full water bottle in there that's just going to float around. And as it floats around and it moves, it'll agitate the surface of the water, and that'll keep that water from being able to freeze. Honestly, in your water buckets and your drinkers, if the top of it freezes, as long as there's still liquid down low here where the cups are, then you should still be okay. But the other thing I need to do, I did find, I swear, y'all, it's been a rough couple of months as far as the chickens. So I'm dealing with recovering bumblefoot. It's not a serious case, thank God. But with Talaria, who I believe is up laying a little beautiful chocolate egg right now. And with Carmen, who is the really dark brown Easter egger who was back over there, who's missing part of her tail because she's molting. When I got them, they had some cases of bumblefoot. It looks just like a black scab, and if I can get my husband to help me over the weekend, be quiet, I'm doing a video. Jeez, these grackles and blue jays. Then what happened is they have the black scab, but it doesn't look like a serious bumblefoot where I need to cut into their foot or anything. But I've been coming out here. That's why I have my little setup right there. I've been coming out and doing an Epsom bath soak, like a little chicken pedicure, and then wrapping their feet. So I've been dealing with that since we got them. They're almost healed. They're good. I don't believe it's anything serious. And now, right as we figured out the pecking order, everybody is good. And then we had to deal with the freezing temperatures. My older girls were molting. Now they're pretty much done molting and they look like chickens again. But now the younger girls are going to start molting. And then I found what I believe is a roundworm in the chicken, one of the new girls' droppings this morning. And I'll tell you, you can see my medical check videos so that you can just get an idea of the little different things that I do. But like I always hype to everybody, please be watching your chickens come out and make sure everybody's doing chicken stuff. Everybody's eating and drinking. They're not acting like they can't walk. They're not acting like their tail is down and they're hurting. Of course, mine right now, they look like they're about ready to break out into song, like West Side Story or something. But just that everybody's like Flopsy's demonstrating, just doing chicken stuff. Everybody's doing chicken stuff. They're eating, they're drinking, they're fluffing up, they're preening. Thank you, Lacey. Man, like on cue. I need like a little symbol. Like, so when I come out to clean the coop in the morning, when my son and I come out to do chicken chores, and we take attendance, and like I said, we make sure everybody's doing chicken stuff and everything's good. We clean the poop out. And I'm hoping that I'm not going to be disturbing somebody who's laying an egg in here. So, but with all of the roost bars, I know who parks in which spot. So if somebody poops right here, I know that it's Miss Muffet. If somebody poops over on the other end of that bar, I know it's Talaria, for example. And one of the droppings that we got out this morning had a dead roundworm in it. So it's like, ugh. So I'm doing some more research now. My old girls, the original Fab 5, they were wormed in October just as a preventative because the weather was changing and I felt like it would be a good idea. Oh, there's Talaria. She's over there. I totally missed you, girl. Sorry. So it's one of the new girls who has worms, or who had a worm. Oh, Callie's fallen asleep. but I'm wondering if I need to actually do anything. Sometimes if you just find one worm in one dropping of one bird, it's because the medicine that you gave them that killed them, they die in the body, but of course they don't just disappear. Sometimes they're absorbed by the chicken's body, or sometimes they're pooped out. So in other words, the worm problem was already taken care of by the medicine, but you know, they're excreting out the dead worms that were killed by the medicine. But if it was one of my new girls, which I'm pretty sure it was, based on where I found that poop in the coop, then it's one of the new girls, and the new girls were not wormed. So I wormed my girls while the other ones were still in quarantine, and we didn't worm the new ones because they had just been given another medication. So I'm looking into, and I'll do an update for you guys if I end up needing to do something for the worm issue, depending on what my worming experts say. If I end up needing to do something, then I'll let you know. I'll do a follow-up. I may just need to worm the new girls. And of course, like I've said with the other worming medications and stuff, you have to make sure that you follow the instructions as far as if there's an egg withdrawal period. It's not safe for you to eat their eggs, for example, but you can, but you can cook them and give them back to the girls so that they're not wasted. And then with all worming medicines, you have to do it twice. You do it once to hit like the initial life cycle of where everybody was at that point, and then you have to do it again, depending on the med, between 7 and 14 days later, so that you hit, you know, all of the worms that are now adults who were eggs when you did the initial dosage. So I will update you guys if I need to do that. But otherwise, it's like I said, it's the season of waiting. The plants are going dormant. The chickens are going to go dormant as far as, you know, them doing any kind of egg laying and stuff like that. Hopefully the new girls are going to get through their molt quickly. I can tell Miss Muffet's starting to lose. Hey. Hopefully that molt will not be too bad. They're only a year old, so it'll be their first real molt. But they're all just hanging out, and we're doing okay. But I wanted to give an update. Man, and Flopsy's just going to town over here. So I hope all of you guys are well. Again, you can check out the winterizing videos. You can check the video about worms. If you guys have questions or comments, just please be respectful. But I love interacting with all of you on here. I think we have a really great community. We'll be back soon. Thank you so much.